So one of the most important aspects of Kingshot is rallying. With rallies, you do everything from PvP to PvE. One of the biggest factor of rewards in the game currently is Bear Hunt, which gives you millions and millions of resources, as you can see here. So it is very important that you understand this very clearly when you're a new player in Kingshot. Now, many people who've been playing this game for a long time will know this, but if you've just started Kingshot in the last few weeks, you must know this information. There is many ways to improve your rally damage so that you get more rewards, as well as you don't get kicked by your alliance members who are making the rally because you have the wrong types of heroes in it. So the first thing to understand is the difference between a rally leader and a rally joiner. Rally leaders are obviously going to be people who have spent money in the game. Usually the whales and the leaders of your alliances will take care of that, and 95% of other players will be rally joiners. Now, when you are doing a rally as a leader, the troops that you use and the heroes that you use do matter, all of them. But when you are joining, only the first hero in this line matters. So you could have no other hero and it wouldn't make a huge difference. Now, having more heroes gives you more capacity for more troops to join, so you should still be putting other heroes, but only the first hero in this line will matter for the skills that they bring to the rally. That is what's really important to understand here. So in this case, let's say that I am going to do a rally just for testing. Of course, if you come here and find my rally and you click this yellow button here, it will explain to you that this is the hero skills of the rally captain. So all 9 of the skills that I have currently on these heroes that are for rallying are being activated. You can see them all, their level, and so on. Now, I was also exclusive skill from the gear, and then you'll see rally members. So this is what's really important here. Only the 4 highest leveled first skills of the hero captain will be effective in battle. This means that out of everyone who joins, the 4 highest level first skill that matters on that hero will be added here as a bonus. So after letting a few people join, you will see now that these have populated, and it will show you that these are all level 3 skills. These are the highest. If many people have the same level, I think it goes more random or maybe in order of joining, but these are the bonus that are being applied to my rally now. Now, against a PvE mob that I'm fighting right now, it really doesn't matter. Against bear, against sanctuaries, against castle, against PvP targets, it matters a lot. You will see here that I'm getting this skill, 24% chance of reducing damage, 24% chance of reducing damage. These do stack, by the way, having the same hero skills from the same hero, it does stack. And here we have increasing defense and health. And then lastly, we have this one, increasing my lethality by 15%. Now, 15% lethality is very good because it's a huge increase in damage. Lethality is basically like damage and attack done, so it's a huge damage boost. So this is where it really gonna matter, is that when you are joining a rally where your goal is to do damage, having a percentage chance of reducing damage taken and HP and defense, it does not matter as much as, for example, damage done. So this is where it is going to really make a difference when you're joining a rally, especially for if you're talking about an event like the Bear Hunt and you go at the damage reward. You can see that the amount of damage you do will increase your rewards by a huge margin. Between someone who's doing, 20 million damage and 90 million damage, well, the amount of resources is millions of difference, as well as the hammers, which is really hugely valuable, is going to matter a lot. In PvE, you always want more damage to do higher damage ranking and get more reward. And while a rally leader will do a lot of damage with their rally, boosting the damage done to the entire rally will benefit everyone who's in that rally. So it's just a win-win for everybody. So when we're talking about first skill, what do we mean by that? Well, if you look at Chenko and I look at her skills, you saw this skill was applied to my rally earlier, the amount of lethality, which mine is at level 4, so it gives 20%. So this is the first skill. You see the top right corner here under expedition. This is their first skill of expedition. This is what it means by first skill. This is what matters. Expedition will take effect when you're on the wilderness map, which is the outside map. So any kind of rally in this game outside of the city is going to be considered wilderness, as opposed to the left skill, which are conquest, which are for arena battles and expeditions and stuff. So if you go here, the conquest, this is where it matters on the left side, and then the right side skills here don't matter. So there's a very big difference to really understand. And I would say that the skills on here for the few heroes that you use in the open field really matter, as opposed to I don't really need to level up these skills on the left, because if I'm not using her in the anything but the open field, then these skills will be useless. Now she is also really good at arena, so this is why I'm using her in both places. But for some heroes, like for example Diana, whose first skill here reduces stamina costs and is very useful for the open world, I don't care about any of these skills, so I'm not leveling them up. So this is really why it's important to understand your heroes and your skills and prioritize in a way that makes your account have certain heroes good at certain things. You can't have every hero with every skill max, especially if you're not spending tons of money. So you do have to choose things that make sense for who you're going to use to join, who you're going to use to rally, and so on. Now, for example, Saul, we saw earlier, this is one of his skill. This is going to be defense and health. It's a really good skill for a rally leader to have. When you have him in your party as a rally leader, this will boost your health and your survivability, especially in PvP. He also has a lethality skill here, but it's not the first skill. So he's not good as a joiner, but he's still good as a rally participant if you're the rally leader who is launching the rally, right? So this is where the difference really is. But as I said, 90% of players in this game will be mostly joining rally. You still will have a rally at times where you'll launch it, and you want to have something prepared for that. Now, all that being said, if you are joining a rally, the best heroes to use, Chenko, for anyone who's free to play or even a spender, will be one of the best. She gives up to 25% lethality, so it's hard to want more than that. And as I said, in the arena and the conquest expeditions, you also have this ability, which is a big AoE damage ability. So AoE meaning area of effect. Everybody wants that in an arena where there's a lot of troops on the field. So this is why she is one of the best heroes in the game for the beginning of the game, for sure. As the game progresses, people unlock more heroes and more legendary are added and they get replaced. But for the first month or two of the game, she is one of the best because of her dual skill being good at everything that is currently in this game. So she is a very good hero. However, if you're a spender, Amadeus is going to be most likely better because he's a more rounded hero, as he's a very powerful hero, and he also has the same exact lethality. So as a joiner and as the rally launcher, he is both one of the best heroes for quite a long time in the game until you replace him with new legendary that come out later. So he is obviously going to be a high consideration for spenders, because you can use him for both joining and everything else. But the skill here for joining isn't really much better. Actually, there is no difference between his and Chenko. So if you're not caring about spending tons of money to max him, Chenko will be your best bet. She is just good all the time. Now, other alternatives that are just as good as Chenko, Yeonwoo here is also giving the exact same lethality. So you of course wouldn't really want to level them all up because there would not be a point. You kind of go and choose one or two maybe, but for me, you see, I don't really care about her. But lethality 25%, it's the same, so it's not bad at all. She is something you can use for sure. It's just that for me, this is not what I want as much as I want Chenko in the arena, so I've ignored her for now. Amane, also the same level of goodness, let's just say. So instead of being lethality, it's attack of the squad up to 25%. So on itself, attack of the squad, not as good as lethality, but if you have 4 Chenkos in a rally joining, some people have said that having 2 Amanes and 2 Chenkos would end up giving more boost in general. So Amane is definitely an option that's also very viable and will be very wanted. And no matter what, if you join with Amane, Chenko, or Yeon, no one will kick you. You're giving good boost to the rally, so there's nothing wrong with any of that. Now, sadly, in the legendary front, well, Saul and Jabel, who also is damage taken reduction, and Helga, who is also damage taken reduction, all 3 of them are pretty bad as rally joiners. They're not really heroes that you want to use, which is pretty funny, being the only legendary hero that's good at joining is Amadeus. But this means that for free-to-play joining, there's really not much of a malus. You still can get as much as many other players who are paying money. So it's really important that you master this properly, then you use the right heroes, because this will really empower you and make your alliance and the rally leaders happy with you. And it's really an important role in this game to have many rally joiners who know what they're doing and are doing it properly, as it will make the big difference in the PvE world of this game, Bear being one of the most important aspects of this game, as well as in PvP. Like, as much as some other comps could come into play for defensiveness and stuff like that, in general, adding more damage to rally will always be good, and you will always want to use these heroes and you will really not go wrong by doing so. So it's just something to keep in mind in general. Any rally in this game, this is kind of what you're focusing on. Now, when you're joining a rally, the other thing that really will matter in terms of how much damage you do is going to be the amount of troops you can bring. So as I said earlier, the only hero that really matters is going to be in the top corner. So let's say I use my Chenko or I use any of these girls. Now, any of them will do fine in this scenario, and you will have no bonus having both of them, but you will get more troops. So you see, as I remove heroes, I get more troops available to me. I go up to 84,000, and if I remove everything, I'm at 47,000. Now, if I use, let's say, my 3 best heroes, I am at 84,000 again. Then I can click select. There we go. I get max of my troops and the highest level of troops that I have. So it is not the most important thing to have other good heroes in the second rank or the third rank. But if you use, for example, low-level heroes, you will see that the amount of troops you gain is much lower. So you do want to bring max-level heroes and bring as many troops as you can, possibly. The reason being that the more troops you have in the rally, the more damage you're going to do. So in a situation where you are doing bear, this is really important. You want to have a big chunk of troop in a strong rally that will do a lot of damage. You don't want to put 5 marches of 10,000 in 5 rallies. You'll still get decent damage, but you don't have 5 good hero joiners, so this is where you're gonna have to be careful. And you know, if you join a really good Wells rally and have really good troops and have a really good main hero gets boosting the rally, you're just gonna end up getting more rewards and more points that way. So you can see if you go into your heroes here and you look here, their troop capacity is written here. So the difference between a hero that's not leveled up at level 1 is 65, and then all the heroes are at 12,000 because I have the drill camp making them all 60. So this is where it will matter. You want to bring 3 heroes, have max capacity for troops to do the most amount of damage possible in that one rally. But keep in mind that in this game, there are times where you're going to be joining rallies, and you can see like there's 11 people in this rally. I can't join anymore. There's 4 people in this rally, but I also can't join because it's full. People have brought big stacks of troops. Now, there's very limited amount of people who can go into this rally if people bring max amount of troops, because the rally leader has a pretty low capacity of rally. Even this guy has 171,000, so very few troops can enter. I can basically go into this rally and fill it up fully myself. So, you know, for a PvE rally like this, I'll join with small troops because the amount of damage I do doesn't matter for rewards gained. For bear, it matters more, which is why it's important for the whales in your alliance that have the rally capacity as high as possible. You see, rally capacity is from this building, the command center, as well as from research. There is these research that allow you to have a higher squad deployment capacity. So, you know, it's important that when you are going to rally, if you are a rally leader of any kind, you have as much capacity as possible. You can see that if I do mine, for example, I have up to 346,000, so I can bring double the amount of troops of this guy, which obviously it's not a competition, but it's very important for the amount of damage dealt, especially for something like bear. And in PvP, the more troops, the more damage you do and the stronger you are, so it's just kind of a given on that one. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be saved selections of heroes. So if you click this button here, you can save a squad, give it a name. So this is really important for both rally leaders and joiners. For example, my bear, my pre-made right now is going to be these 3 heroes. Now, Quinn is a very good rally hero to have because of his percentage damage up to like 50% that he can bring. But Saul is also very good because he also has lethality. Mine is just not as high level, so this is why I would have this one right now. But in any case, your rally, like, you know, troop will be usually Wells and will usually be a lot of legendary heroes. But it's just going to be very important that you have it preset so that you can launch it quickly when something happens. And you also want the highest level of troops possible. Now, when I made my selection a long time ago, I didn't have the same level of troops. So now I can clear all, add all. He'll take my highest troops here. There's also, as you progress into the game, ratios of less cav and more archers and stuff that come into play. But that's for a bit more advanced later on when people have a lot more troops. As of right now, people barely have enough troops to fill a rally. And then you save it here, and then I'll save it on top of this one. I call it bear so that it is my bear rally. I could change the hero, and then I could make Saul instead, and then I could again save instead of bear, and there we go. And then when I go to another thing, bam, as soon as I click this one, this appears automatically. I can do whatever I want. Click here, max troops, best heroes, I deploy. Now the same goes for joining a rally. As you can see, I have this lineup, which is Chenko and Amane. Now in the third spot, I have this one. I could change it to this one because obviously my Helga will often be used in other rallies because I'm going to rally with her. Then I will save, and this is going to be my new join, which is there. And this, again, the highest level of troops. And Chenko is in first spot, which gives me the opportunity to have the most damage possible. If I have enough troops and I don't want to use both of these heroes in the same one, I could go and select this one. It really doesn't matter. As long as they're level 60, the same amount of troops are here. Then I do join. There we go. Now this is my join rally, and I can use my Amane and Young into joining other rallies with troops to boost those rallies properly with the first hero again. So it's very important. If you have this, you'll be able to, you know, go and select a rally quickly that's happening, and then you'll be able to simply, you know, join it like this or like this, and then boom, you launch it, and it's very easy. Same goes for my stamina. This one is using Diana first because she reduces the stamina. As you can see, it's 25. Now it's 22. Then I do equalize because you only send a bit of your troops for PvE rally. And there you go. I can launch this rally very quickly. So for any kind of rally you're doing in this game, or any kind of joining you're doing, if it's saved into a position of squad, it just makes your life much simpler, less thinking to be done, easier in war when a lot is happening. As you saw, I have many of them. You can save more. You can do join 1, join 2, join 3. You can do rally 1, rally 2, depending. So it's really just important to use them, and you unlock them as you upgrade your town center. So you're going to get some from VIP as well. So, you know, once you have 2 or 3, you can really play with them and help yourself really have a better experience in this game. So hopefully this was useful to you guys. Of course, I'm still on a new server, so I'm not in the end game. But I think I have gotten a good grasp of this game by watching a lot of Reddit and YouTubers and kind of putting all the information into one. Let me know if there's anything else you would add for rallying and bear, and any kind of other guides you would like to see on the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.